following is an exclusive presentation of Supt Broadcasting, the sports leader in Southeast Georgia.
World famous. The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
Yes, it is the world famous Butch and Bob Show, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO FM in Jessup. And let's get started with our show this morning. Bob, we got a very special guest in the show, in the studio this morning, too.
Yeah, like I said, we've been promoting this. Good to have Dr. Sean Kelly, new school superintendent, in the studios with us. Hopefully first of many trips to the Butch and Bob Show, but appreciate you coming by.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here.
Again, you've been here for a while. You just, the people, first time here from Dr. Sean Kelly, just, remind everybody where you came from, your family, things like that.
Sure. I am here from Douglasville, Georgia, Douglas County School System. I spent 28 years there in various roles, from teacher to coach to county office administrator. My wife is also an educator, career middle school educator. Works heavily now with our with the gifted program there, and have one son, and he is a junior in college up in Northwest Georgia.
So I'm sure you're hopefully getting your wife situated to come down here soon.
Yes, right now we're riding the roads a little bit, but, obviously she's got to fulfill the obligations of her contract up there, and hopefully she will be here in the very near future once she satisfies those requirements up there.
Well, you've been here almost a month working under the current superintendent, Jay Brinson, because his last day is March 31st. Your first official day is April 1st. So how's that transition period going?
The Board of Education was very gracious to allow me time to spend here with Dr. Brinson. He has been absolutely fantastic. I mean, he's a wealth of knowledge. Obviously being from here, he has been able to, kind of give me a lot of great insight as to how things are done and kind of some of the history of the Wayne County school system. And the things that he and the board have done during his tenure are fantastic. It's a very, very good school system, has a very strong tradition. The community support is amazing, and I am just here to hopefully build upon a very strong foundation that's been built by the board and by Dr. Brinson and all of the educators in the system, the county office administrators, as well as the students and the community members, and hopefully we can increase opportunities for kids to be successful and provide them with some things that they need to battle through this pandemic and the tough times that they've been going through, and hopefully come out on the other end even stronger.
Let's start with the board office, because they're getting the personnel the last couple of months. Just like Jay Brinson got his retirement years in, there's been a lot of people retiring from that front office. There's a lot of holes to fill. I'm thinking of the names that have just left recently. Jay's leaving, Bonnie Gordon's leaving, Tina Mosley's left. There's a lot of holes in that front office to fill. So is that priority number one for you? Is that what you've been doing, trying to line up that front office personnel?
Yeah, when I was named, I had discovered a little bit earlier than that there was 4 key positions leaving. I didn't really know how to take that. I didn't,
Don't take it personally. This happens every year.
But I also know that a lot of times, that when a superintendent leaves, other people take advantage of the opportunity to retire or to do different things. And so, even though it is going to be difficult to fill those shoes, it's also a great opportunity to bring in some new talent, give some local leaders, some people who have been invested in the school system opportunities to move up maybe. But also, it allows us an opportunity to grow in the central office. So spent a good amount of time interviewing and working with current staff to determine, who might be the best fit in those positions. And we have recommended 3 of the 4, which I'm sure you guys have published, I'm sure. And we're very excited about who is coming on or the changes that we have. And I think we're going to have a really, really good team to lead the school system, into the future.
We talked off the air before you got on there. You found a gym secretary, Nicole Landon, from the athletic department. So you got to be happy about that.
Yeah, we, opened up the process, took applications, allowed anyone to apply that wanted to, and, selected Miss Landon. I'd heard about her, obviously, from athletics and being around the county and talking to different people, and I think she's going to do really, really well. She has that work ethic that is required to help run a school system. And, the secretary to the superintendent, just like the secretary to the principal at the high school, is very, very important. They're the glue that holds everything together, and helps the office thrive. So we're very excited to have her in that position.
If you just joined us, our new superintendent, Dr. Sean Kelly, our guest. Just curious, as superintendent, everybody has goals, visions. What's your vision and goals for the school system? What would you like to see done that's not maybe being done now?
Well, you have to be very careful when you come into a situation like this. You really want to build upon the great things that are happening, and then as time goes on, we want to maybe add a few things, maybe change a few things, and try to move our system forward even more. So, basically my vision is to come in and try to determine those areas where we can really improve, where we can provide additional opportunities for kids. I am really big on taking care of our teachers and our staff in the schools because, even though leadership is a great determining factor, nothing beats having an effective teacher in front of those kids. And so we're very fortunate for the Wayne County school system to have most of our kids in school. It's not like that everywhere, so that is a huge accomplishment.
How was it up there in the Atlanta area? I mean, down here we've pretty much had most of the students in the schoolrooms, but I understand the Atlanta area, it's been a little different situation.
There are some systems up there that are just now getting students back into the classroom. Where I came from, we were right at 50%. Okay. With kids being in the building, they've done a really good job of getting kids back in the building over the last, month or so. But it's difficult. It's a very hard situation to deal with. There's a lot of factors you got to take into consideration with regard to health and safety of kids and of teachers and those coming in and out of our buildings. So I think it can be done. Wayne County has demonstrated it can be done effectively. Yeah. And I think, there is a push now that time has gone by and people have really understood what we can and cannot do and keep people safe. I think there's a very huge push to get kids back in schools where they're not already back in school.
I know you've only been here a month, but I'm sure that you got a lot on your plate. But have you had a chance to go around and visit all the schools and the facilities? You're a facilities kind of guy. You've been in charge of those. What's your thoughts on our facilities currently?
I have been in every school building. I have visited every facility that I'm aware of. I haven't been inside the football stadium yet, but I've been around it. Wayne County should be proud. There are really, really good facilities here. There are facilities here that rival any facility I've been in, even in the metro Atlanta area. The one elementary school that needs some serious consideration is already has a project in the works, and will hopefully we'll begin breaking ground soon with James E. Bacon. And so the board has done a great job. Dr. Brinson has done a great job of making sure the facilities are what they need to be.
Where are we at on the James E. Bacon project? I said I didn't get to go to the last board because I was at a baseball game. Did they give an update? Because last I heard they were looking for that lock-in price from the state before they begin. Have we got that locked-in price yet, or are we still waiting on that?
We, our contractor and our construction manager were opening bids, I think, a week ago. And so they have informed us that they hope to have a guaranteed maximum to us in the very near future. And so we hope to be able to have them at a board meeting in the very near future to report out to the board, provide updates where we're at there. So I'm hoping that it will not be very long before we start seeing things happen out there at that site.
And what about the other big project, the track? Have you been able to say, my coffee group at McDonald's makes the joke, when's the school system going to start selling fishing permits for the fishing pole out there? Because it's kind of in the swamp. I just want to get your thoughts on it. Is that, I heard it's been shut down again, the project, because of the wetlands and things like that. Where does we stand on that track project?
From what I understand, the project is moving forward. It has experienced a little bit of a delay, but it didn't have anything to do with wetlands. It was an issue of where we wanted to place some specific areas in or around the track, and making sure we had a very good vetting process and getting some input from the coaches and some other school leaders about where certain things needed to go, jump pits, runways, those kind of things. I think we about got that hammered out, so we should start seeing dirt moving around out there again very soon. I was not here when the location was decided, but I think it's going to be a very successful endeavor. I think
you've been told about all the history about how the current superintendent didn't recommend that, the AD didn't recommend that, the track coach didn't recommend that. I mean, they all thought he should go to the JC Stadium. They had the drawings, $1.7 million. state-of-the-art facility, which is something we may never see in our lifetime because they keep talking about this future endeavor across the road, but that's never going to come to fruition in my lifetime. So if you had to, I know at one point Ray Davison tried to get him to back up and punt. Is there any thought with you being the new superintendent they may back up and punt that project, or do you think it's going to move forward as it stands?
Well, it would be my expectation that it moves forward. I know that there was a lot of discussion about it. I was not here or, don't know a whole lot about what those discussions were. I do know from what I've been told that there was a lot of discussion, a lot of vetting for the process, and that, a decision was made. I know that we, have contracts and things with, construction companies. And so, we're moving forward with it being at the high school.
I think a lot of it came down to the fact that there was some school board members who wanted it there at the school so the PE classes could use it. Use the track as a way to get out there and exercise and do certain things and have it right there at the school. There's talks about that because, it was over at JC Stadium. The PE classes couldn't walk across the road there and use it. So that was one of the reasons, the main reason I think I heard from the school board members is the reason why they decided to vote and have it there at the school instead of the traditional track over there at the high school. I'm not sure if you've heard that or not, but right now the PE classes can use the track, where if it was over there at JC Stadium, they couldn't. But do you think the project will be completed by the time the school starts back in August?
I don't know. I have not been so involved to know and understand exactly what the completion date is. I'll probably get more involved in that, in the next few weeks and be very involved in the process and making sure we report out to the board, how things are going. But I'm not exactly sure what the guaranteed end date is supposed to be. So
what's going to be the end cost? Because I keep hearing the costs keep going up. There was one cost, and now with all these, and the more things delayed, more things become more expensive. So, are you concerned about how much it's going to eventually cost the school system?
Well, as a superintendent, I'm always concerned about how much things cost. But to be honest with you, I do not know what the guaranteed maximum was on the project. Again, once Dr. Brinson, enters into retirement and I officially take over, I will be more heavily involved in all of our projects. But being here, trying to get staff filled at central office, making sure that Dr. Brinson has the things that he wanted to handle and take care of. I have not been as heavily involved in that project as I will be in the next few weeks.
Well, a person that was on the Wayne County High School track team from 68 to 72, I'm just saying is glad, I don't care where it was at, to have a full-fledged track and all the facilities back here in town so we can host track here in town and build the track team back up by having a first-class facility here, no matter where it was at. I'm just glad it's being built.
It's going to be nice. Yes, I've seen the plans, and, I know the coaches have been involved, and from the very beginning, it was my understanding that the board was very adamant about it being a facility that would meet all specifications from GHSA to hold, region and state meets.
Okay. As mentioned, like I said, at this time of year, it's all about filling up the slots for next year. So is that something that will be top priority when you take over, making sure there's enough people in place to teach and administer and things like that? Because, it just seems like there's so much turnover at this time of year. Is that normal with other school systems? Have you experienced that?
Yes, it is. The spring is always very busy with trying to hire people. You always have people moving around for whatever reason, various reasons, and it is so competitive nowadays. The preparation institutions are down a little bit with regard to their enrollment. So qualified teachers coming out of school. So it's a little harder to find really, really good people. So we start a little earlier now. We are in the middle of hiring. All of our principals and our school system personnel are really working hard to try to fill any vacancy that we have with good quality folks. It's our desire to put the very best person, most qualified person in front of our kids, or filling those positions that support the teachers in the classroom. And so it is an all-day, everyday consideration this time of year. Yes, sir.
Dr. Sean Kelly is our special guest this morning. The new school superintendent at Wayne County will take you on April 1st. We have to say that every so often because people tune in and out, okay?
Yes, sir.
And you want to make sure they're all certified, right? I got a pet peeve. They give them a certain
We got
period
a
of
question
time.
on that on folks.
They get
what
a
about
period.
non-certified
Right.
instructors?
I mean, they get a certain period of time to get the certification. And once they don't get, unfortunately, in my experience in the past, we've kept people in place that are not. I mean, you can't go to a doctor without a license. You can't have a nurse without a license. So my pet peeve is if they don't have a license to be a certified teacher, they shouldn't be on staff. So I just want to get your thoughts on that.
The goal is for us to be 100% certified in all areas. Unfortunately, sometimes that doesn't happen, but that is always what we are striving for. If we don't have a person in a position that is 100% highly qualified, then we are always working to either ensure that they're doing all things necessary to become 100% highly qualified, or if necessary, finding another candidate for that position. With strategic waiver and some of the things that we are allowed to do, there are times when we can put people in places that are extremely qualified but may not necessarily be highly certified. You think about a business position maybe at the high school, or maybe an ag position or something like that. Sometimes we can do things that allow us to put someone in a place that is very, very effective.
Is that just because you can't find people? Is it difficult to find the right person that's certified for the position that want to move to Jessup, or has the qualification or so forth? Just talking to business owners out there and then talking to other folks out there, it's sometimes difficult to find people.
It is very difficult to find people, and it's not just a Jessup or Wayne County thing. It's an everywhere thing.
Yeah, everywhere.
When I was a principal up near Atlanta, I was searching for a physics teacher one time, and we were in a system of 27,000 kids right next to two of the biggest school systems in the country, and it took me months to find a qualified physics teacher. It just, sometimes it kind of goes in cycles. Sometimes there's just not those people out there, or they're not moving around. So, it is a difficult task. Our building level administrators are very skilled in finding, people who fit really well in their situation. But our goal is to always be 100% highly qualified and to make sure that our kids have someone in front of them that's effective and that delivers upon the expectations of our community and their parents to provide the very best education possible.
Now, Dr. Kelly, this is your first time to be in a full-fledged school superintendent. I know you've worked in school systems in several different capacities through the years, but what made you decide to become a school superintendent?
When I first began as a teacher, I wanted to be a coach. I was a high school, college athlete, wanted to be a coach. In order to coach, you had to teach. And I quickly learned that, the education part of it was way more important than the coaching part of it. And so I just progressed through my career wanting to have a greater impact on a greater number of kids. And so when I became a building level administrator, I had a greater impact on the kids in my building. So I wanted to, be able to influence people in the whole system. So I went to the county office and served in a few roles. So ultimately, it's just like being an assistant coach. Assistant coaches really want to be head coaches. I want to be a superintendent because I think I have the skills and the vision to take, a school system, to greater, to be great. And I really enjoy working with very smart and talented people, and I really enjoy being able to select those people. So it's just been a natural progression.
So this has been your long-term goal, is to become a school superintendent for the past several years? Then?
Yes, sir. It has been a goal of mine for a good while. Yes, sir.
And how did you become a diehard Alabama fan?
Well, that's a funny story.
Oh, he's a Bama fan?
Yeah. I am a Bama fan, but that is because I married into it.
You married into it, huh?
My wife graduated from Alabama, and her family is from over there. Has a long history of being Alabama fans, and so that's kind of what I've been exposed to and enjoy it.
Well, did you ever have anything of your own other than married into Bama?
No, I really wasn't. I really didn't have a college team.
Okay. Because you said you were in sports, so I didn't know if you had.
I never really had a favorite team. I mean, of course, I like Georgia football and those things, but I also like Clemson baseball because they play really, really well. I'm a big fan of a lot of places because I've been in education so long. I have a lot of kids that are playing or have played in different places.
Right.
Was very fortunate. A great story. Was very fortunate just recently to have a football player of ours at my most recent high school that just walked on as an undrafted free agent with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and in his first year ended up winning a Super Bowl ring, Cam Gill. So that was a great story. He's a great kid. So of course, I'm a huge Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. You know, I'm a Tennessee softball fan because we got a young lady that plays first base for them that I know personally. So, you know, I'm a fan of a lot of different places.
Okay.
Sounds good. Again, Dr. Sean Kelly, new school superintendent. So April 1st comes, what's your first task? I mean, when you take over officially. So
when I take over officially, I'm just going to continue to do what I'm doing now. You know, I want to be out and about in the buildings, be in the community. I want to get to know our teachers and our kids and our building level administrators. I want to really understand what it is that they need to be great and what we can do to help build capacity of the people in our buildings and our school system as a whole. I'm a huge fan of, you know, helping people be the best version of themselves so that as we move forward, you know, if we have everybody operating in their greatest capacity, then our school system has no reason not to be great. You know, it is my goal for the Wayne County school system to be the example by which everybody else measures themselves.
Well, you were the unanimous choice of the school board. Have you spent much time with the school board members? Have you had an opportunity to do that other than just in an interview situation?
I have had an opportunity to meet and visit and spend some time with all of the school board members. And, you know, it's very important that the superintendent and the school board governance team be very consistent and aligned with what it is that we're trying to do in the school system. And this board has been very, very good working with me, you know, making sure that I know their expectations, allowing me opportunities to be the superintendent and do the things the superintendent's supposed to do. But they are very knowledgeable, and they are very committed, and they are very passionate about doing great things for kids in Wayne County. And I'm very excited to have been their choice because I know that they had a lot of good applicants. And I really appreciate the opportunity and the confidence that they've bestowed upon me. And I, you know, really look forward to working with them very closely. They are very involved.
Okay.
You know, we're still under a pandemic. The numbers continue to go in a positive direction. You said you've been in all the facilities and schools. How do you think they're handling the pandemic? You know, to me, you know, everybody in Wayne County seems to be pleased, you know, that schools are still open, kids are in the classroom, because every board member I sit at, they give those national statistics from everybody saying that, you know, it's more important for a kid to be one-on-one with the teacher. These kids that are doing these virtual learning are really being left behind. So do you have that same sentiment?
I do. You know, I think the research has shown us, you know, as we've been in this, you know, pandemic for, you know, a year now, you know, we're starting to see the effects, the social emotional effects of the kids that have not been with their peers, have not been in classes. And I think we can be in school safely. Our schools are doing a great job making sure their kids stay safe. There are clear expectations with how our kids and our adults in our buildings are supposed to conduct themselves. We're wearing masks. We have sanitizing stations. You know, we have a great custodial situation who are mitigating any issues that we have. Every conversation we have about events, facilities, and doing things always involves how do we make sure our folks stay safe with regard to, you know, the pandemic. We work very closely with our local Board of Health, with, you know, the people at the hospital, and make sure that they're always as informed as possible about the things we want to do. And our board is very diligent in ensuring that our kids are as safe as they can be as we progress through the pandemic, our protocols, and the things that we're doing to make sure our kids are as safe as possible while they're
Now,
in
I
our
know we
buildings.
had the air purifiers. You know, folks came on the Butch and Bob Show a few months back. Those air purifiers in the high school. Are they in all the schools now, or are you aware of what the percentage is at this moment?
I am not aware what the percentage is. I do know that they are not in every single space that it was initially, you know, desired for them to be in. But I do know there is a good, very solid plan to get that done as quick as possible. And we're having those conversations. Hope to have those conversations even more in the next few days so that we can kind of finish that project and get that taken care of as it was intended when they first started it.
Okay. Bob, you are out of questions? No way.
I covered everything I want to cover. I said I'd appreciate.
Did you have air purifiers in the school up there in your Atlanta area school?
We did not have them in individual rooms like the Wayne County school system has a desire to do. So I think that's even more of a mitigation precaution, you know, in addition to making sure that our HVAC systems are working properly and they are being, you know, maintained and doing all the things that we can do to make sure that, you know, the air is moving and that we have those things taken care of so that our rooms and our spaces are safe.
Okay.
Just want to make sure you understand. Like I said, this venue is open anytime you need it. And like I said, we invite everybody that wants to come to the show. But like I said, it's always good to have the school superintendent here to give up information, like especially these projects that are underway. You know, and that boss is very important. Have you been involved in promoting that in the past? For education, because that's always something that's needed. It's been a valuable asset to our community for sure.
Yeah, the SPLOST, SPLOST funds are magical for schools, and I have been involved in a few SPLOST initiatives, and it's very important for the school system to get input from the community and from various groups and community leaders to know and understand what the desires of the community are, because ultimately it is the community and the county that supports those efforts, and we are able to do so much with SPLOST funds, so it's very important to make sure that our folks know what it is that we want to accomplish with SPLOST funds, and then that we make sure that we are very diligent with being good stewards of taxpayers' money.
I do have one question I want to ask you, but I don't want to do it on the air because of the way it's worded. But I'll do it off the air, and you can go from there with it, okay?
Okay.
But Dr. Sean Kelly, our special guest this morning here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, he'll take over officially on April 1st as the new school superintendent. We'd like to welcome you, and then when your wife gets here for full-time to our community, and we look forward to many years of working with you to inform the public out there of what's going on with the education system here in Wayne County.
Thank you. It's been a great pleasure. I appreciate y'all inviting me on.
Okay. We'll get with you in just a moment. All right. Anything else, Bob?
Nope.
That's it. All right. All right. The world-famous Butch and Bob Show brought to you by O'Quinn & Associates, Sean O'Quinn, Country Financial, by Murphy Builder Supply, Damon's Famous Fingers and Wings, and First Southern Bank.
The world famous Butch and Bob Show.